Hello, my beautiful friends. How are you? We are going to make a pistachio pound cake for the Pound Cake National Pound Cake Day. So what I'm going to show you is to start, I have my pan for my pound cake and I have it buttered. Now when I say well buttered, I mean every little crevice. I have almost a half of a stick of butter in here to melt or to do that with. And it's also going to be floured, so we're going to be generous, and what is left. But we are going to get every crevice in this pan, every crevice, all the way up and all the way out. All right, greased and floured. Greased and floured. It's ready. All right, there is no written recipe right now for this video. I will get it ready and try to post it. So just pay real close attention. It is a simple video. So we have our pan ready, our bundt pan. We're just gonna do 3 cups of flour right now. And I'm just gonna spoon in my flour. And I like to kind of sift it around like so. We need 3 cups. And I don't want them packed. Don't pack them. One. Hope your day is going awesome. As you know, in my preempting video, we went to Meijer and I'm still tired. I'm not whining. Don't give me any cheese to go with my wine. There's 2. But we did have a great day. It was so nice that Darlin Hubs felt well enough to get out and be able to help a little bit too. It was just awesome. All right, so there's my 3rd. And I always just wipe off that 3rd one. There we go. So I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour in this dish. Now to that, I'm going to add 1 3.5 ounce package, or 3.4, of pistachio instant pudding mix. Not sugar-free, though my body would prefer it. But this is just a good old-fashioned pound cake. The whole thing is going into my flour, just like this. I'm going to add a little salt. Now, oh, the smell. It smells so good. Love that smell of pistachio. Now to this, I'm going to add just a pinch of salt. We want about 1/4 teaspoon. And now we're going to add some baking soda. Baking soda. All right, so baking soda, all I have, remember, let me see, where's my spoons? We're going to do 1/4 teaspoon. And I believe this is it. And I keep my baking soda sealed so it stays fresh a little longer. Just 1/4. I have a little pinch missing right there. Okay, so we've got that. We're going to go over to the mixer and do some things with that. So, all right, here in my mixer, I have 3 sticks of butter at room temperature that I have creamed a little bit already, okay? To this, I'm going to add 2 3/4 cups of granulated sugar. Just like that. We are going to mix these together until they're completely creamed, about 3 to 4 minutes. All right, I have our sugar and our butter partially creamed. I'm going to add vanilla. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and you can measure if you like. We're just going to continue on. Now I am going to say, one of the things so many people do when making a pound cake, or any cake really, is when it calls for beating the sugar and butter, creaming it together. Let it cream. You don't want to turn it into a secondary butter, but you do want it to cream. So a good 3-4 minutes is okay. All right, it's creamed. I have here 6 jumbo eggs, all right? But you're going to see I have 8 yolks. I didn't add extra eggs. These are jumbo eggs. Some were double yolk, and it is okay. We're going to add these about one at a time. All right, our eggs are in. All right, so we're just gonna let these go after each addition. We're gonna scrape the sides down on our bowl just to make sure that everything is as it should be. Perfect. We're gonna let this turn back on and just mix those eggs in well. All right, we have our eggs and our sugar and our butter and our vanilla in our mixer creamed. We are now going to add our dry ingredients. Now these are our puddings and our baking soda, our salt, our flour, all right? Those are all in here. We're gonna just mix these gently so that pudding is in there. And we're just gonna add a little at a time, all right? I'm gonna add about 3 of these great big scoops. And we're gonna stir real low just for a bit. Remember how it flies all over? Mine's no different. You do have a edging that you can put on this, which is always nice. All right, so we've done that. We're just gonna do a little at a time. Now I have here 1 very full and generous cup of full fat sour cream. We're gonna add about 1/3 of that right into our mix. We're gonna, again, nice and low, just to incorporate it. We're gonna add more of our dry mix. Few at a time. Be patient with it. You want it to be mixed well, but not tough, okay? So don't do tough. And I'm gonna use this scoop to just tuck this down in there a little bit. That way it tends to not blow all over. I don't use a guard. I did for years, I didn't like it. So there's that. We're just gonna mix real lightly. See, it still poops. Now we're gonna add more of our sour cream. I think we can add most of that this time. So use a generous rounded cup. You don't have to be skimpy. It is the goodness of your moisture in this cake, along with, of course, 3 sticks of butter. I don't want to miss any. All right, I'm gonna mix a little again. Goes in there. Okay, now we're gonna finish with the rest of our dry ingredients. I'm just gonna pour them in gently, and I'm going to turn it on as I go. There we go, all over. They're in. Just gonna mix it till it's incorporated. That's it. Lift that up. Let's scrape our beaters. Get all of that goodness off there. We have this pan prepared already. We're gonna go into a 325-degree preheated oven, all right? And this is gonna bake for about an hour and 10 to an hour and 20 minutes. Ovens are all different, remember? It smells so good, you guys. This is such an old cake. Such a wonderful, wonderful, old, wonderful cake. Now, we only have one more thing that I want to do before I move on. And this is optional, but I'm going to add a cup of crushed, lightly salted pistachio. And I had to get as much of the stuff off the beater as I could so it doesn't all stick to the beater at first. So down we go. Little bits. Remember, we're not going to beat this. That's all I want. That's it. So let's get this in our pan. All right, we have our pan ready. We have our batter ready. Let's get it in. All the way around. And then I just come back and kind of start over. So let me get it in, smooth it out, save you some time. All right, my friends, our pound cake, our very heavy pound cake, pistachio pound cake is in our pan. And you'll see these little bits of things that kind of rise up along. Don't worry about those. In fact, I'll let you in on a little secret. These little bits and pieces that stick there, they're still buttered and floured, they won't stick, but they're my treat. Why not? When I put it on a plate and it's pretty, I get those little odds and ends, little snacks. It's okay. So this is going in my 325-degree oven. It already smells heavenly. I know what it tastes like. I know the richness in it. I know the absolute decadence in it. And then we're gonna make a delicious glaze to go over the top after it cools a bit. Okay, my friends, our cake is out of the oven. My glaze is made. We finished dinner. I hope I'm not wearing any. I have no idea what my hair looks like, but I do know what this cake looks like. So let's show you first what I'm gonna do. I always slice the candy off of my pound cake before I plate it because it always keeps it nice and even. But darling Hubs and I enjoy the candy. And I say that because I just want you to see the tenderness of this cake. Can you see the moisture at all in this cake? It's just, look at that. But let me say, or not say, I don't even have the glaze on it yet. And just incredible. Donald Hubs couldn't hardly stop eating it. The flavor is perfection. The texture is perfection. If you make this as I made it, you can't hurt it. You'll be good. You'll be so proud. Here is our cake. Can you see it? Beautiful. Beautifully done. So tender. Now it's still warm, not hot, but pretty warm. So I have a glaze that is made from confectioner's sugar, milk, almond extract, you can use vanilla, and butter. Can you see the way the glaze is right now? I don't want it thick, so I'm just going to drizzle it because it takes very little. I have less than a third of a cup. It's such a good cake and it only needs a touch. So let's do it together. I'm going to slide you back. We're just going to go right over the sides as it drizzles itself right over. This cake, perfect for Easter, perfect for St. Patrick's Day, and quite honest, for our family, it's always been perfect for any day. So, I know a tried and true recipe is kind of a nice thing to have. So I'm here to tell you I've tried this cake for 20 years. It's true. True to our family, true to our taste buds, true to everything we know, and sticky. All right. There you go, my friends. There you go. Now I'm not going to cut into this cake because it's going to be a gift. But I still want you to come here just for a minute. I got a mess behind me, that's okay. I want you to just see. Look how soft. Look at that. And this is the part that is in the oven the longest. It's got that little bit of crunch. My friends, it is perfection, and I'm proud of it. I hope you'll share it, because this is the season for pistachio pound cake. And happy National Pound Cake Day. Love y'all here at Kitchen in the Moon. Okay, Darlin Hub said I had to cut it. I cut it. I just want you to see. I'll use my knife. Can you just see right here? Look at the moisture in that cake. That little bit of glaze. The color is beautiful. It is so moist, so tender, so amazing. I'm so proud every time I make it. You will be too. Now I'm leaving. Love ya.